अस्सलाम वालेकुम डियर। लास्ट टाइम हमने चैप्टर बेसिक सेपरेशन एंड टेक्निक्स की एक्सरसाइज के MCQ सॉल्व किए थे। आज हम इस चैप्टर की एक्सरसाइज के शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे। अगर आपको इसमें कोई कन्फ्यूजन हो किसी भी किस्म की तो आप कमेंट करके पूछ सकते हैं, मैं रिप्लाई करने की पूरी कोशिश करूँगा। तो चलते हैं आज के अपने टॉपिक की तरफ। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाई इज देयर ए नीड टू क्रिस्टलाइज ए क्रूड प्रोडक्ट? Their crystallization is needed to purify a crude product by removing impurities such as unreacted materials, coloring agents, and resinous substances. In this process, only the pure compound forms regular crystals, while impurities remain dissolved in the mother liquor or are filtered out. This step ensures the final product is chemically pure and suitable for further uses. Next is, what is the function of floated filter paper? There, floated filter paper increase the surface area for filtration, allowing the liquids to pass through more quickly compared to flat filter paper. Its folds create channels that speed up the flow of filtrate and prevent the paper from sticking to the funnels, making the filtration process more efficient and faster. Next is, what is the differences between a gauge crucible and sintered glass crucible? There, the differences between a gauge crucible and sintered glass crucible is given below. Gauge crucible is made of porcelain with a perforated bottom. Before use, it needs to be prepared by adding an asbestos mat. It is suitable for filtering corrosive solutions like concentrated HCl or KMnO4, which can damage filter paper. Sintered glass crucible is made of glass and has a permanently fixed porous glass disc at the bottom. It does not require any preparation, making it more convenient and use-friendly for filtration. Next is, what type of mixtures are filtered through a gauge crucible? There, gauge crucibles are used to filter mixtures that may react with filter paper, such as concentrated hydrochloric acid and potassium permanganate solution. They are also useful in filtering crystals from the mother liquid during crystallization, especially when using a vacuum pump for faster and efficient filtration. Next is, what is function of fractionating column during fractional distillation? There, the function of fractionating column during fractional distillation is to separate a mixture of liquids into its component depending upon their boiling points by enabling repeated condensation and evaporation. It contains glass beads or plates that increase the surface area, helping the rising vapors to partially condense and separate more effectively. This repeated cycle leads to better purification and separation of each liquid component. Next is, what is the stationary phase in paper chromatography? There, in paper chromatography, the stationary phase is the water molecules trapped within the cellulose fiber of the paper. These water molecules hold the components temporarily as the mobile phase move up, allowing for separation based on how strongly each component interacts with this stationary water. Next is, what will happen during paper chromatography if the components of the mixtures have a comparable attractions for the stationary phase? There, if the components of the mixtures have comparable attraction for the stationary phase, they will travel at nearly the same rate with the mobile phase. As a result, they would not separate properly, leading to overlapping or merged spots on the chromatogram instead of distinct ones. Next is, what is meant by term developing the chromatogram in paper chromatography? There, developing the chromatogram in paper chromatography means making the separated spots visible on the paper after chromatography is complete, especially when the substances are colorless. This can be done using physical methods like ultraviolet light or chemical methods like spraying with a locating agents like ninhydrin, which reacts with the substances to produce color spots. Next is, what is the basic principle of paper chromatography? There, the basic principles of paper chromatography is partition, where the components of mixtures are distributed between two immiscible phases, stationary phase and mobile phase. stationary phase, entrapped water in the cellulose fibers of the paper, and mobile phase is an organic solvent that flows over the paper. Each component in the mixture moves at a different rates based on its affinity for the stationary and mobile phases. These differences in movement cause separation of the components on the chromatogram. Next is, why is water not generally used as solvent in paper chromatography? Their water is not generally used as the solvent in paper chromatography because the stationary phase is already water entrapped in cellulose fiber of the paper. For effective separation, the mobile and stationary phase must be immiscible or have different polarities. If both phases are water, there will be no differential partitioning and the solutes will not separate properly. That's why an organic solvent like ethanol is usually used as the mobile phase. Next is, differentiate between adsorption and partition chromatography. Their adsorption chromatography, stationary phase is solid. Principle, components are separated based on their adsorption onto the surface of the solid stationary phase from the mobile phase. Example, thin layer chromatography and column chromatography. Partition chromatography, stationary phase is liquid, either spotted on a solid or entrapped in paper. Principle is, components are separated based on their partitioning between the stationary liquid phase and the mobile phase. Example are paper chromatography, gas liquid chromatography. Next question is, how can you check the purity of a compound with the help of paper chromatography? There, the purity of a substance can be checked using paper chromatography in the following ways. Number of spots, a pure substance produces only one spot on the chromatogram. An impure substance shows two or more spots, indicating the presence of impurities. And next is comparison with a pure sample. Run the sample alongside a non-pure compound. If both give a single spot at the same RF values, the substance is pure. If not, it's impure. Next question is, you have prepared a solid sample of glucosazone in the laboratory. How will you proceed to check the purity of the sample? There, purity of glucosazone can be checked by melting point. A pure sample melts sharply at fixed temperature. Impure melts over a range. Mixed melting point, mixed with pure glucosazone. If melting point stays sharp and same, sample is pure. Paper chromatography, pure sample gives one spot with same RF values as standard. More spots means impure. उम्मीद है आज का लेक्चर आपको पसंद आया होगा। अगर आपको कोई कन्फ्यूजन है तो ज़रूर कमेंट करें, मैं रिप्लाई करने की पूरी कोशिश करूँगा। लेक्चर अच्छा लगा हो तो वीडियो को लाइक करें, शेयर करें और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें। शुक्रिया।